this again now and try and enunciate all my words, which is hard for a Scotsman. So this is a kind of a brief intro, or actually brief. It's a brief of the brief writing process. This is basically how I managed to write briefs in like 15 minutes, but it does require a few caveats or prep beforehand. First one is you need a brief template, fairly obviously. So basically the one I've got is the one from Authority Hacker, but I've done like a little bit of editing, so I've changed some of the description. Obviously I've updated articles similar to my niche. This is pretty much the same. Added a section on editing and formatting to the kind of the way I like it. Added a bit on SEO, kind of added my own bit on citations and how to do them. And then for the outline itself, I've kind of made this, which is a boilerplate. It's the same every time. Well, in the brief, it's the same every time. And it's set up the way that my articles, my template is set up in my articles online. Then this I've changed so I can just copy paste for the number of sections I want, and then it's very easy just to kind of write in the description and also the subheadings. And then lastly, I've got this, which is not important necessarily, but I find it useful. When I was writing previously, I would often find kind of these kind of nuggets of information that were brilliant, but it was very, very difficult to kind of weave them into the narrative. So what I do is I ask my writers if they come across anything that they can't really get to fit, but they think is really kind of good or useful, then they add it at the end as a bullet point to the document they give back to me. And then what I do is I then I look at these and then I take them, and sometimes I'll add them into my pages as kind of in these kind of pro tip boxes, which I think are kind of a nice way to also split up like kind of walls of text, and especially for some longer sections which maybe don't have so many headers. So that's just something extra I do. The other thing that you need obviously is keyword topic research, which is blatantly obvious. So the other thing I do, is typically, what I've started doing, at the start of the year I pulled, I think, 7,000 or 8,000 pages from my competitors, and then ordered them and kind of put them into this massive long list so they saw my info content. And then I've pulled out about 100 for this year, which I've stuck into kind of my information content clusters, which I'm slowly building. And then on a kind of quarter by quarter, so 25 to 26 articles per quarter, I've kind of got what is coming up. So as you can see, I'm currently writing the briefs for Q4. So this also helps, I think, as well, because you can see kind of what's the keywords, search volume, categories, the status. I think this is easier than using Trello. The number of words, and quick calculation to see how much it is. Actually, this is another one. I actually have this one now, which automatically updates the cost based on which writer it is. So this also helps you see kind of what will be your outgoings for a month or a quarter as well. But then I can easily pick up kind of what I need to do from this. The process itself, I'm only going to run through bits of it because I've tried a couple of times to video the entire thing and it hasn't worked properly. So I'll show you in kind of brief, but I promise that this does take me 15 minutes. So one, choose your topic keywords. In this case, I'm going to show you how one was camping in the rain. So copy that. Pick up the blank template. Blank template, I've already done it, but I'll go to the blank. So the blank template, camping in the rain. I would then add camping in the rain as the main keyword there. Then what I do is I go to Keyword Finder, although you can use Ahrefs or just Google suggestions as well. Just have a look, is there anything else that kind of makes sense as kind of secondary keywords that should be in, and sometimes secondary keywords are also useful for the section headers as well. So camping rain gear is a good one, I think, for a section header. Maybe camping rain. I mean, I don't waste a lot of time. I spend less than a minute doing this. So in here I put camping in the rain. I think another one I was useful was rain tarps as well. Was another one maybe. So once you've done those, copy them in. Then the next thing I would want to do is kind of take a look at the word count. So to do that, you guys in America just use Google, but because I'm in Denmark, Google DK sometimes spits out some kind of Danish pages, so I use SERP Checker. So camping in the rain, set up the US tour, and then I'll open all these in, that's the same as that. I'll open all these into new tabs. And the reasoning, this is actually Mark Jenner who kind of suggested this to me, is Google likes these 10 articles. Obviously it's the ranking for this keyword. So they must contain, well, one, they've got good links, so people are actually liking them as well. But also two, Google's algorithm likes them because they have content and various other metrics that it likes to rank them so high. So once you've got the 10 of them open, I then use this tool here called SEO Review to bulk web page word counter. So a bit mouthful. And then I'll just copy these across. I'll just do 2 or 3 just now. Copy. So you're watching me copy all 10. Okay, so I've just said I've copied all 10. I then copy them from here and stick them into, replace this with the URLs, just so that my writers know where I kind of got my ideas and the structure from, and then they can get some information from there, but they also know to pull from other sources as well. And I've also instructed them not to link to any of the top 10, because I don't want to give them a link that I'm trying to compete with. So that's that. So basically, once you copy, sorry, the other thing we've done is click this and done this whilst I was off doing everything. So this would come up with all the results, the number of words per page for each one, and then I actually you can either eyeball it in here, so like through here, and look at the word counts, or instead what I do is I copy it across into the spreadsheet, which gives me the highest, biggest one, and then it's the average. And I typically, what I'll try and do is I'll pick 200 or 300 words above kind of the average. Sometimes you might get something weird, like all these are about 1500, 1600, and you get like an article that's like 3500 or something like that. I'll treat this as an outlier because obviously you've got these pages ranking quite happily on the first page with a much smaller word count. So this was the previous one I did, so this was, so I'd probably say 1800 for this. So then that goes into there. So now we've got the title, the word count, we've got the keywords, we've got the sources. So then we go into the actual outline itself. So to do that, what I do is I have a quick scan, just pretty much this speed, just have a read through, not looking at the text, just mostly looking at the headings. And this is also why I like, you guys were talking about table of contents yesterday. This is why I like table of contents as well, because it's very quick to get an overview for when you're doing brief writing. Okay, and so what I do is I go through all of them, have a scan, and then I pick the one that I think, or in my opinion, has the best outline in terms of the headers, and also, and so once you find that one, in which case I think it was this one I picked previously. Yeah, it was. I picked this one previously, and in this page, right, so you open up another Word doc on this page, and then just bullet points. So I always have an intro at the start, and then I just literally go right, as you can see, I go through, take the H2s. Okay, that's that H2 there. This H2, pitching a tent in the rain. Normally I try and reword it if possible. So pitching a campsite in the wet, cooking in the rain, meal preparation in the rain, camping activities around the weather, what to do when it's raining, and then that finishes. And then I always try and add a kind of a conclusion wrap up, but obviously not calling it a conclusion wrap up. So in this case, I say enjoy yourself. So once you've got the H2s in, then look through this article again for H3s, or kind of looking at slightly more detail at the text and see if there's any kind of subtopics that look obvious. There wasn't any on this one. And once you're happy, you've got kind of the headings from this one, close it. Then this is your basic outline. I then just quickly go through the other 9, or however many you've opened, and see if there's anything else, kind of a different take that you could add in as an H2. or as an H3. So we just go through them one by one. Okay, this one is the same as the previous one, so no. Okay, this one, place the top of your tent. Okay, so I've done a bit kind of thing, so I know rain tarps are a good idea. So bringing a rain tarp fits underneath that is a good thing to do. And so either you can go through these and pick stuff out, or if you got your own, if you know yourself, and you can add stuff like I know, one, what's packed in case of rain. Choose your gear to suit the environment is a good thing. Check your gear's waterproof before you go. Bring the rain tarps, and anything else you can pull from here, or from your own brain, you stick in as H2s. Once you've got that, and you've closed all these, and you've got the information you need, then just have a quick read. Does this make sense from a narrative, a storyline point of view? So what to pack before you go. So how to pitch once you're there. Once you're set up, how to prepare meals. It's raining and you've got nothing to do with it. So this makes sense from a storyline. So now what I would do is, okay, so there's section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So section 2, copy 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Okay, that's what I do, and then I'll just copy. First off, just copy the headers in. So what to pack, pitching a campsite, meal prep, what to do when it's raining, enjoy yourself, and then add in the H3s into here. And for sections where you have H3s, I would just delete this, and then the writer knows that if he feels there should be split up, then he'll split up himself. So that's how I get that. And then the final thing, actually, so this is the finished one that I did earlier. So it's kind of like Blue Peter. I guess like Dave will get that joke. Okay. I misnumbered it, but okay. So as you can see, what's packed include. So these are exactly the same. I've kind of changed the order of these, and then in this one here, the top one, which was basically a brief description of what section is about, plus stipulate if there's any topic. Depending on how good your writers are, this could be either very, very detailed, like when I was talking about Text Broker, I would actually fill some quite detailed, whereas my current writers, you can see these are fairly minimalistic, but with the copy of the 10 SERPs I'm using, and then these and the headers, they know fine what to write about. So for instance, what to pack in case of rain. So discuss what are the essentials and go to hubs to take with you on a camping trip just in case of rain. How to select the gear, how you know about your environment, is it usually raining, make sure your gear is waterproof, and any extra tips like parking with extra tarps, etc. So I write something like that for each one, setting up camp, give tips, how to choose a good campsite, how to pitch in rain, etc. And go through, that's it. And then I just do a quick kind of read over again at the end, just to make sure this all makes sense, which to me it does, and that's your 15-minute brief. I promise you that took less than 15 minutes. And that's that. Then so just update, brief done, add photo, which one you write you want to do it, and then move on to the next. That's my process. Any questions, just let me know. Hopefully the audio worked this time.